Getting myself to push record has felt like an act of God. I kept coming back. This podcast kept coming back to my mind, kept coming back to my heart. And I've continued to wrestle as to why it keeps coming back to my mind and keeps coming back to my heart and why it's been so hard. Because I'm not afraid to talk. I love to talk. I love to connect. So I don't know. I just know that is this thing on? Is this thing on? Turn me up in the headphones. What's up, y'all? Welcome, and welcome again. Welcome back to Chats with FrenZ, the podcast. I am your host, Kiana Jackson, and we are back. We are back in the building, and I know. I have reintroduced myself and reintroduced this podcast a number of times, but who's counting? And we not keeping score, so we just are going to pick up where we left off. So grab your drink of choice and a snack so we can chat. I actually do not have a snack with me today, but that doesn't mean that you can't have. You know, normally I start this podcast with an icebreaker from my cards over there, which I don't have, but I do have some affirmations because getting myself back on this mic, getting myself to push record has felt like an act of God. I kept coming back. This podcast kept coming back to my mind, kept coming back to my heart. And I've continued to wrestle as to why it keeps coming back to my mind and keeps coming back to my heart and why it's been so hard. Because I'm not afraid to talk. I love to talk. I love to connect. So I don't know. I just know that I don't even know. But I have what I did was created these affirmations and these reminders and notes and love notes to myself to just keep encouraging me and to keep me committed to what it is that I'm doing here. So I'll just pick the top one that's on my affirmations here. It says, I show up fully, flaws and all, and that's what makes me real. And so thusly why I was like, I was caught up in my head about like how I showed up on camera, because who doesn't want to put out good quality content or information to the public and on these interwebs. And so I went through this phase, I'm going through this phase of feeling like I have to look a certain way, be a certain way on camera. And what I think that resonates most with folks is that I'm real, I'm raw, I'm uncut. That's kind of always been my tagline when I was on the radio. My show was called Straight No Chaser. So just keeping it real. And so the reality is every day I don't have lashes on. Every day I don't have makeup on. Every day I don't have an outfit on. Like when I put that ish on, I do. But in most cases, I don't. in most cases, I have on what you see me in, which is leggings. Today I have on biker shorts because it's nice out and I'm going to go for a walk. And so instead of trying to figure out how to get dressed to record, I'm just going to hit record and it's just going to be what it's going to be. So here we are. And I'm so glad that you're here. So thank you. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for those of you who have been with me since the beginning, who have reached out to me over and over and over again about when I am coming back, when I going to record, when is the next episode going to drop. So here we are. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for continuing to speak into me. Thank you for continuing to encourage me. Thank God for just continuing to touch my heart and to work on me internally, for me to get here. And the devil is a liar. Yeah. And I feel like he has been attacking me, and really his goal is to seek, he roams to seek who he may devour, to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And so as long as I continue to remind myself of that, and that this is a fight, like it is a battle. And so I am equipped. I can do hard things. I can do this. This is the message that I keep reminding myself of. I can do hard things. The devil is a liar. And I don't know what God has for me and has for those of you who are listening, but there is a reason why this podcast needs to happen, and I have to continue to fight against the whatever comes up against me emotionally, physically, in order to get the words out that need to be out in this world. One of the other affirmations that I have for myself to remind myself is this one that says, my voice carries wisdom, joy, and truth exactly as it is. And so as long as I remember why my voice matters, and that my voice matters, and why it's important to keep press and record, to keep showing up for myself, to keep showing up for you all, and to do what thus and execute on what thus the Lord has put on my heart, and why I believe this thing keeps coming back. I keep coming back to it. I keep coming back to the mic. And so that was a long spiel. That was a long way of saying I'm back. I have implemented some things that will help me like stay on track, like some tools and automations and things to help me stay on track. Part of what I've learned and what I understand to be true about me is that I love to chat. I love to talk. That's not the issue. The issue is that producing a podcast is a lot of work, and that's where I get hung up. It is a lot of work to produce this show, to edit it, to record it, the lighting, all the things. But I can do it. Like, that's what I have to keep reminding myself, is that I can do it. And there are podcast studios. I've located one that's close to my house that I think I will be tapping into to just provide some support for myself, where I can just sit down. I can just sit down and do what I know how to do well, and that I love to do, which is to chat, which is to get on this mic and let somebody else do the pushing the buttons and the editing and all the things that when I think about it, I feel this like, ugh, in my gut. That's what I'm gonna do. But for now, until I can, button up all the things that I need to button up to make that happen, we're gonna do it this way. I have created some things for myself to be able to stay on track. We're gonna chat a little bit about what I've been up to, where I've been, what's going on, what I envision for the future. So for the sake of the fact that I've been out for a while, we're going to do a little bit of an introduction or a reintroduction to some, because the Kiana that was here the last time I hit record, there's remnants of her here, but I have grown. I have shifted a lot of things in my heart and my mind. And so I just want to let you know where I'm at physically, mentally, emotionally at this stage, at this time. So let's start with me. My name is Kiana Jackson. I am 53 years old. My birthday is in December. I am a Sagittarius. I was born in Seattle, Washington, and I currently reside in Chicago, Illinois. I have been in Chicago for 7.5 years. People ask me all the time, why did I move to Chicago? And the answer is that I could. At the time that I moved here, I was working for myself, and I had the flexibility of working for myself. I could do my work from anywhere, and so I could. My best friend and her husband at the time had always opened the door to me and gave for the opportunity to move here. There was a moment in my life at that time, so 7 years ago, when I moved here, I was a couple years removed from the passing of my son. And so I needed a reset. I needed a refresh. I needed to disconnect and reconnect to myself. On April 14th, 2015, when my son died, a portion of me died at the same time. And I was like lost, swallowing and wallowing, rightfully so, in the death of my son. But I had the opportunity to disconnect and sort of reconnect here, and I'm eternally grateful. I was just having a conversation with her a couple weeks ago about the fact that having the opportunity to come here and given the space to just be, how critical that was to the Kiana that you see before you today. And I'm eternally grateful to her for allowing me the space to be. I didn't have to worry about anything. I didn't have to figure anything out. I didn't have to be responsible for anything. I've said for over the years, the biggest decision I had to make was what pair of sweats I was going to put on any given day. And that was the extent of it. And I am so eternally grateful for that. I feel like Chicago is where I grew up. I love my family. I love my friends. I love Seattle. But I feel like in addition to losing my son, I feel like I had become comfortable. I become pretty stagnant there. I had created a pretty good life for myself that was working fairly well, but there wasn't anything there that was sort of pushing me to do and be anything other than what I was. And so, and I had the comforts of being able to pull up to any of my friends, to be able to pull up to family, there was a level of comfort and a level of sort of like right here that it felt like my life was at. And it wasn't until I moved that I realized how I was relying on family and friends, and those creature comforts sort of kept me right here. Because being in a city where you don't know anybody, I knew 3 people. Like when I moved here, I had nobody but me and God. I had to depend on myself. I had to figure it out without being able to rely on what was comfortable for me. It was a season of being very uncomfortable, and so that helped me grow. It helped me like figure myself out. It helped me learn about myself. So I feel like Chicago is where I grew up. I grew up physically in Seattle, but I grew up emotionally, spiritually here in Chicago, and so I am grateful to Chicago for that. The other thing that people ask me when I tell them that I'm not a native of Chicago, they ask me, why did I move here? What do I love about being here? And 100% of the time I say, I love seeing beautiful Black people every single where I look. Up and down any street I'm on, it is filled with beautiful Black people, which I absolutely love. There is Black excellence, there is Black joy, there is Black leadership, there is Blackness, there's Black music, the culture, just everything here is blackity black. Blackness is celebrated, Blackness is honored, Blackness is just everywhere. And I love it. And I don't know that I knew that I needed that until I came here and experienced it. And it is my favorite thing about living here. It really is. And, growing up in Seattle, where I was the only one in most rooms that I was in, just not having access or exposure to it, I didn't know that I actually needed it. And thusly, I'm here and I'm glad. That was so different than what I experienced growing up and living in Seattle, Washington. So, Seattle, Washington will always be home. And I go there often, and my family and mostly all the people that I love live in Seattle. My mom, my grandson, lots of friends, all of my extended family, pretty much all live there. That's home. It's always going to be home. But Chicago is my current physical home, and I love that for me. I love it for me. I have created and curated a pretty amazing life here as well. I am often challenged, though, even in my current life. I feel like God is just challenging me to level up in other ways in my life. Here, I have a beautiful home that I love. I have, memberships to museums and art, theater, and just my co-working space across the street from my house is Black owned. Being able to be a part of so many different Black experiences that I've created here, and I just feel like I feel a tug to shift some things even in my current life. I don't see myself move. This is not about moving out of Chicago, but there are some other things I want to create for myself that I feel a tug at my heart to do. So I have taken, so very much in sort of my process that I do on a regular basis is I ask myself questions. I have a running list of questions that I often just ask myself or check in with myself about. And as I was navigating, returning back to the mic, returning back to this podcast, I asked myself some questions and wrote down the responses and the answers to those. And so part of what I'm going to do now is just sort of reveal my innermost thoughts to you as I reflected on this podcast and myself and my vision and what I see and what I desire. And so I'm just going to interview myself and ask the questions and answer them. So I have my notes here. And the first question that I asked myself was, why did you start Chats with FrenZ in the first place? And just to sort of ground me and remind myself as to why this thing was born. And what I will say is that being so physically separated from all of my comforts, all of the people that I know and love, left a gap, and be in community with and or connect with and or laugh with or curl up on the couch and watch TV or get a meal if I didn't feel like cooking, or all the things. I just didn't have that here, and I don't have that here still. Just having, being able to just talk to my friends regularly about all the things in a very organic way. With that said, I just didn't have that, and I didn't have the space to just process. I didn't have the space to just chat organically and just vulnerably and just randomly about all the things. And so here we are. Chats with FrenZ was born. And it was a way for me to chat with my friends, or to chat about the things that are on my heart or on my mind in real time. And so I would complain about not having friends. I would complain about not having access, and that. So I wanted to create space for myself to have the conversations I would have if I just pulled up on one of my friends in Seattle. So what made you pause, and what's bringing you back? I paused because I realized that the idea of podcasting and the realities of podcasting, there was a disconnect. And I knew that when I started podcasting. I realized the load. I realized the time commitment. I realized that the skills gaps. I'm good at chatting. I'm good at talking. I'm not good at editing. I'm not necessarily really good at technology. I think I can navigate, on a rudimentary level. I wouldn't consider my technical IQ to be extremely high. So, navigating all the many platforms and understanding how to edit, and understanding how these different platforms work. And I started out podcasting on one, posting my podcast on one platform, and then that platform changed, and then the way you navigate it changed, and I had to, I just was like, child, listen. So I felt like I just kept running into these, hiccups, and these, the burden. This is what it felt like. The burden of actually getting the podcast or getting the episode ready to post just felt like a lot. Just keeping it all the way 100 just felt like a lot. And juggling that with my day job and getting 10,000 steps in and drinking my water and getting 8 hours of sleep and navigating what has been a year filled with a lot of health issues, can't sleep, menopause. Child, I was like, what? Who in the hell left the gate open? Because this is cool. Listen, that's why I pushed pause, because it just felt overwhelming. It felt like a lot. It felt like when I got done with my day job, I didn't want to see a computer at all. I didn't want to see anything that resembled work. However, I have created some things, automations, and some ways to ease the burden for myself. And also, I have to continuously remind myself that I can do hard things. And part of the ritual of even getting me sitting down in this chair today and getting this mic plugged up and pushing record required me to have these conversations with myself. Nobody's coming to save me. Nope. Nobody is coming to save me. It is going to require me to get up off my ass and do the hard things. And so I can do hard things. I have lots and lots of proof that I can do hard things. I have lots of examples that I can do hard things. And so it's those moments that I have to remind myself, Kiana, you really can do this. You can do it. Just look back over your life at all the things that you thought were too hard and you felt overwhelmed about that you actually did. And so though, like, I had to hype myself, which is why I created these like affirmations to just hype myself up, speak the gospel to myself, the gospel, the truth to myself about who I am, whose I am, and what I have to offer the world is valuable. And so that's what I got to do until I don't have to do it no more. But right now that's what I got to do. I got to hype myself up like the Rocky song. Right? So I like literally had to hype myself up, and I did that ish, and I am here. So also just realizing, like, when I am weak, that is the Lord, is strong. I just was like, God, I am struggling. And he reminded me that he is my strength when I am weak, and that he will fill in, and he has the capacity to fill in and be all that I need to execute on what he's put on my heart to do. So if he gave it to me, if he put it on my heart, then he knows that I have, and he has all that I need to make it happen. I just have to remember that, and I have to rest on that, and I have to stand 10 toes down on that. And so that is where I'm at right now. That's why I made the pause. What's bringing me back is that it keeps coming up. This podcast keeps coming up. It keeps coming to my mind, keeps coming to my heart. It stays on my mind. It is that thing that's just humming in the background. Like, it's just like right there. It's just like, it's right there. It's right there. And so I can't let it won't let me go. And so that is sort of a reminder to me and confirmation to me that this is supposed to be. So that's why I'm back. It is supposed to be. I don't know what, and I think that's the other thing, is that I was trying to like figure out the end game, know all the answers, all the things. And all I know is that this thing won't let me go. And so I just need to show up. I just need to show up for myself, show up for you, show up and allow God to do his thing in me. That's where I'm at. The next question is, what's the vibe listeners can expect going forward? And I will say more of the same. And if you haven't been here and you're new, more of the same means raw, means real, means uncut. We're going to talk about how God is working in my life, how I'm navigating my healing from all kinds of things, y'all. Ciao. And just when you think, let me just adjust myself in this chair. Just when you think you are healed, life be like, hold my beer. Because what? That you're healing. Some raw, real conversations that will help me grow, will hopefully help you grow, or help you just ponder, or give you some food for thought, or different perspective on a thing, or different fodder and intel on a thing, or so you'll hear more of that. I've had guests on my show, my actual real friends in real life. So my vision is to have more guests, have more deeper conversations and expansive conversations with people that I can learn from, that can pour into me, that can pour into y'all. That is my vision. I didn't say this in the beginning during my intro, but my ex-husband's a pastor. I was born and raised in the church. It has just dawned on me recently, in the recent years, as I've reestablished my relationship and my commitment to God, what that my church experience was before, as it relates to what I want to create with God now. So I hope to share, lots of that. I'm looking for a church home. So I'll be real raw about that, what navigating finding a church home is, what navigating finding church community is. I am currently not dating, and I haven't been dating for a very long time. My last relationship ended in 2021. That is... That is the last time that I have been on a date. I'm laughing because it is 2025. That was a long time ago. Ciao. But I will say that I have really thoroughly enjoyed my singlehood. I really, really have. And in all of my 53 years, this is the longest I've been single. This is the longest that I have not entertained, or even phone calls, texts, none. When I say dry, the dryness of the phones, the dryness of my DMs, they are desert dry, which is fine. I'm not even tripping, because what I know to be true is at this time of my life where I'm centering Kiana, is exactly what I needed. I am centering Kiana, what the joys of Kiana, the desires of Kiana. All I have to think about is me, myself, and I. And this is the first time in my adult life that I've ever had to only think about me, myself, and I. That I get to center me and what's important to me and what I want first and foremost. So that is, I'm enjoying that. I am really, really, really enjoying that. And the idea, I know that this is the caveat, is that I do want to be in a relationship. I do want to be married again. And I be telling God, this, and I don't even know this to be true from my own experience, because I'm not dating, but from what I heard out here in these dating streets, we need a do-over. And I'm also inspired because I do see evidence that Black men are healing, that Black men are doing their work, that Black men are showing up, that Black men are leading their families, that Black men are committed to their spouses, committed to their partners. There's a shift, and I've never been that person that has felt like all men are dogs or men are all trash. There's a great number of them. And this is also informed by the amount of true crime that I watch. So there's that. Because what? Anywho, I'm not even gonna go down that rabbit hole right now, but like I'm clear that there is you can't convince me that there is not a black man on this planet, on planet Earth, on God's beautiful planet, that is not for me, and that is not going to be committed to me, that's not going to love me, that's not going to protect me, that's not going to pray for me, that's not going to provide for me. And we're not even talking about just financial provision, but just provide emotional support, safety, for me, emotional safety, physical safety, that just has my back, that I know has my back, that I know, that you can't convince me that that person doesn't exist in this world. I prefer it to be a beautiful. Okay, so if we just go talk about the desires of my heart, a beautiful chocolate black man, preferably with a beard. I know that's aesthetics, right? I know that is aesthetics. I'm clear that that's aesthetics. That's what I would like. But if I'm just being completely honest and real, like I do want that. And at this age, what I found to be more valuable to me and more important to me is character. They have to know God, believe in God. I'm not saying that they have to swallow the Bible whole, but they have to have a relationship with God. And acknowledge God in their lives. Who is your community? Who are you accountable to, sir? Sir, who are you accountable to? That's important. Like, who are your friends? Who's calling you in and calling you out? I have dated smokers, as far as cigarette smokers and other paraphernalia smokers. I have dated smokers, cigarette smokers, and I do not want to date anyone that smokes cigarettes. I'm just saying. So aside from that, how you treat your mother, how you treat the women in your life, how you treat the valet when we park our car, who and how are you accountable and reflecting on yourself and analyzing where's your emotional, that's what it is, emotional intelligence. Someone who is emotionally intelligent is important to me as well. Someone who is well-traveled and cultured is important to me. How do you take care of your kids? How do you handle conflict? What does leadership look like to you? Yeah, so those are the things that I'm thinking about when I think about dating again. Those are the questions. Those are the things that are important to me. Yes, I want you to look good. Yes, I want you to be easy on my eyes and all of those things. But what's more important to me is what's in your heart, what's in your soul, what's on your mind. But do you have a plan for your life? Do you have some kind of plan for your life? Do you have some kind of vision for your life? What are your goals? You know, what are you proud of about yourself for the things that you've done in the last year or so? Those are the questions that are on my mind. So that was all the way off track. That's the vibe. Those are the conversations that we're going to have. Those are the things you're going to see me do. And I also want to do things more spontaneous and more in the moment. What does it look like? Like, hey, y'all, you will never believe X, Y, or Z, right? And just posting that, posting shorts, how I'm learning my Bible and how I'm deepening my relationship with God. If I'm going through if I'm navigating some things in life, I know that y'all are too. And so, what does it look like for me to be transparent in the moment of navigating those things? Not after I've already maybe figured out the answer, or not after I've already sought counsel about it or whatever, but like in the moment, like things that are on my mind and on my heart, and sharing those in real time, maybe vlogging. I don't always think about recording. I move around a lot, but I don't always think about picking up my camera, my phone, or hitting record when I'm doing stuff in my regular life. And so, but I think it's cool, right? I think it might be cool as a 53-year-old woman who has found herself in this, what I would consider still new, 7.5 years. Is that considered new? Maybe. But just away from home, her hometown, living in a new city, the third largest city in the country, being a Black woman, like what it's like navigating grief. I'm 10 years removed from the murder of my son. My grandson, who was just here a few weeks ago, who's 15 now. Child, it's just, there's some things that I think might be how that might be a source of inspiration, or a source of, inspiration to you, a reminder to you that you too can do it. And I know that sounds hella corny, hella corny. If I can do it, you can too. But there is something about that, right? There's something about seeing someone else that looks like you, that has navigated some of the things that you've navigated and or navigating, that there is a way through and out of it, and how I might be able to be a visual representation of that. So I want to do, my vision is to do, some more spontaneous, short little check-ins, right? 2 or 3 minutes. It doesn't have to be this whole big deal. Kiana, this is me preaching to myself. Is, just little brief check-ins that just allow me to stay connected to you. That was a lot. What challenges am I navigating? Balance. I said that earlier in this episode. Is balance, figuring out how to balance, taking my vitamins, drinking my water, getting my 10,000 steps, recording a podcast episode, going to work, getting sleep, going to the doctor, all the things. Balance. That's what is challenging me right now. What lessons did I learn in the last season of what lessons did the last season of your life teach you? What lessons did the last season of your life teach you? The lessons that the last season of my life have taught me is that it's okay to disconnect. It is okay to slow down. It is okay to be intentional and deliberate about rest. And that has meant I have disconnected from social media, because the rate in which social media was causing more and more overwhelm and more imbalance in my life. And so I noticed, I could feel it in my body. The speed of social media was too fast. And so I had to disconnect from that. I have peeked in just very, very, a spot here or there, but for the most part, I am off of social media. It has allowed my brain to rest. I mean, the rate in which information and news is transmitted on social media, our nervous system is not designed for that rate. It is too high of a rate. That is what I've learned. Is that I had to it's okay. It is okay. I don't need to know all the things. I don't need to know what's happening. I told my therapist and my friends, if the world is getting ready to come to an end, y'all send me a text message, because I ain't gonna know about it. And it's okay. It's okay to disconnect. It's okay to not know all the things. It's okay to center rest. It is okay to slow down. The world that we live in celebrates and rewards urgency and fast pace and getting it done and productivity and all the things. So I am resisting that. The fruit of the Spirit, there's 9, are joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And what this last season, current season of my life has taught and revealed to me is my areas of opportunity. Patience, yes. I have been behaving impatiently. Patience, my dear. Faithfulness, and more so what I've seen and learned about myself as far as faithfulness is concerned is being faithful to myself, keeping my word to myself, keeping my promises to myself, showing up for myself, being faithful to me. Because if there's areas of my life, and this is not a critique, this is an observation. There are areas of my life that if I was dating someone and they showed up for me how I'm showing up for me, I wouldn't be dating them anymore. So there's that. Self-control, child. I mean, that goes without saying. And I have addictive tendencies. It's a very much a part of the DNA of my life, or my what do you call it? My family history. There is a pattern of addiction. And so I have those addictive tendencies. And that's why I go in and out of drinking alcohol, because I find that I can lean, I can easily slip. So self-control, like overconsumption. I have excessive overconsumption, and I have come to some roots of what that stems from, and why I feel like I have to buy all the things, and all, just feeling insatiable. I have an insatiable appetite for certain things. And so I've been working on what is at the root of my overconsumption, but those are my areas of opportunities, are patience, faithfulness, and self-control. That has the lesson that I've learned in this season of my life. So as I wrap this particular episode, I just want to bring us back to what I would love. The question is, if someone only remembers one thing about you or this pod, what should it be? And as I wrap up things that I reflected on that I want to just share, and that is, what conversations do you want to hold space for? And the question, or the answer to that is real, raw conversations, the joys, the challenges, the lessons, the curveballs, the victories, the celebrations, the curiosities, the encouragement, the support, to ultimately propel us to where we want to be, give space for different perspectives and experiences to help shape our futures. So that's what I really want to hold space for in these conversations on this podcast. The other question is, if someone only remembers one thing about you or this pod, what should it be? And that is that I lived, that I loved, that I laughed, and that I learned. As we close, this is my third close. Faith, I just want to remind you and remind me also that faith is not the absence of fear. It is not. And I think that had me hung up for a little while, because I was like, you say you love God, you say you believe in God, you say you have faith, but you're still scared. And so faith is not the absence of fear. Faith is knowing and doing it anyway. And so, I struggled with this idea that I was afraid to do some things, even though I said I have faith. And faith is not the absence of fear. So listen to your heart, do the things, do it scared. And I know you have heard this a zillion, quadrillion times on any sort of self-help, self-development, encouragement, inspiration, whatever information that you have heard over your lifetime. But do the business. Start the podcast, go on the trip, make the call, learn something new, explore, ask him or her or them out for coffee, learn a little more about them. That thing that keeps coming to your mind, do it, tweak it, adjust it, refine it over time, but just do it. If you haven't already, make sure that you connect with us on Chats with Friends on Instagram. But before you do that, make sure that you share this episode with someone else. Also, make sure that you comment, correspond with me on whatever platform you're listening to this episode on, Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Engage with this episode. Yeah, rate it, comment, do all the things. And remember who loves you. Kiana Peaches loves you. God loves you. Until next time, ciao.